As the city of Atlanta prepares to host the 1996 Summer Olympics, Road Atlanta prepares to host the top international drivers of the Players Limited Toyota Atlantic Championship. And so far, it has been all Canada, with Canadians taking first, second, and third in race number 2 at Long Beach, California. And Claude Bourbonnais invades the South, leading all but 2 laps of those 2 races. Frankly, Scarlet, Claude is ready again to set Atlanta on fire.
May the best man win.
This series is made possible through the financial support of Players Limited Racing and Toyota Motor Sales.
Welcome to Road Atlanta, round 3 of the Players Limited Toyota Atlantic Championship today from Road Atlanta, the road course. Located in Braselton, Georgia, not far from Atlanta, this beautiful newly repaved circuit hosting round 3. And as you know, TSN will carry exclusive coverage of all 15 rounds of this championship. The cars now just gritting up on a very hot day in Georgia. No surprise, the dominant Canadians, Villeneuve, Empringham, Bourbonnais, sit up front as they did in round 2 at Long Beach. And let's look back now to round 2 in sunny California. Jacques Villeneuve, son of Gilles, was the fastest qualifier at Long Beach, looking for his first win in Atlantic racing. However, from the start, it was his teammate and fellow Canadian Claude Bourbonnais charging into the lead. Charging into second place by the first quarter, Bourbonnais would chase down the American Jamie Gallus, eventually passing him to take the lead by the end of the very first lap. However, the best battle of the day belonged to Canadian David Empringham and his Motomaster entry as he chased Gallus for third. The victory went to Bourbonnais, with fellow Canadians Villeneuve and Empringham finishing second and third. And there is the young Jacques Villeneuve, who is again our fastest qualifier. His teammate Bourbonnais sits again in 4th. Jacques looking for a win and a championship in his rookie season. And as we take a look at the current points after 2 races, Bourbonnais is your leader with 32. David Empringham is 3rd, he from Willowdale, Ontario. Stuart Crow tied with Jeff Barker. Crow the winner in Phoenix, Jacques Villeneuve with 17, and Trevor Siebert from Langley, BC with 13 points. As I mentioned earlier, this is almost a brand new facility. Road Atlanta, although over 20 years old, has undergone a complete repaving. With more on this circuit, here's Bill Adams.
Built in 1969, the Road Atlanta racetrack has always been regarded as one of the finest in North America. Its beautiful scenery and challenging track has always made it one of my personal favorites. And it just got even better. In 1992, this 4-kilometer circuit went through a $1.5 million renovation that, among other things, included the repaving of the entire track surface. It is now much smoother and wider, and this makes it faster. The downside of this is that normally when teams can come to a track where they've raced out before, they have a base ground to start from. They know what the suspension settings were, they know what the gears were for their last race. Well, because this track is so much faster, in fact, almost 6 seconds a lap quicker, they don't have those same standards to rely on. The upside is that no one now has an advantage. No matter how many laps you turned on the old Road Atlanta, it's an all-new learning experience, and everyone is equal once again. The last remaining equation here, a brand new entry, and one that has us all excited. Canadian Kenny Wilden. Canada's Kenny Wilden is the latest showroom stock champion to try and make his mark in the Players Limited Toyota Atlantic Championship. In In 1992, Kenny was the dominant driver in the Players Limited GM Motorsport Series. He had an incredible 7 of 10 victories, scoring 5 of those in a row. In a series using identical cars, there was little doubt that it was Wilden's skill as a driver that made him so dominant. Kenny showed great confidence and ability all season as he and arch rival, 3-time champion Richard Spenard, battled all season for wins. But while Wilden lost only a few battles, he won the war as he became Canadian champion in 1992 and earned the nickname Mr. Perfect. So Road Atlanta really does present a great new challenge to all the drivers and teams. It also gives all of the teams a chance to finally knock Claude Bourbonnais off that podium and stop his dominant reign. With more on that, let's go down to Paul Chater.
Well, Bill, that attempt to knock Claude Bourbonnais off his pedestal may very well begin right here. He sits 4th on the starting grid today, and he has 3 very fast drivers in front of him, beginning with the driver who has won more Formula Atlantic races than anyone in history, Mark Dismore. And in second spot, young and aggressive Colin Truman in car number 50. But Bourbonnais' biggest barrier to a victory today may very well be his own teammate. Young 22-year-old Jacques Villeneuve sits on the pole. But if Long Beach, California, the last race in the series, was any indication, although Claude Bourbonnais may sit 4th on the grid, he can still stand 1st on the victory podium.
The Players Limited Toyota Atlantic Championship is brought to you in part by Yokohama Performance Radials. Now you've got control. The year was 1991, and a young Canadian, Stéphane Preux, was looking for his first win and a Canadian Atlantic Championship at the season finale in Vancouver. He started in 6th and drove his way into the lead, crossing the finish line with no gas left, but a win and a championship. Stéphane Preux, a Canadian champion.
You may never have to find out how much control Yokohama all-season tires really give you. But with 70 years of tire engineering excellence and long-lasting traction, it's always there if you need it, no matter what kind of car you drive. Yokohama Performance Radials. Now you've got control.
Tell your sisters, tell your brothers. Hey, yeah, McCain makes a pizza for the deep pan lovers.
McCain Deep Pan Tender Crisp Pizza, the finest pizza that ever came out of your oven. A unique, gentle way of rolling the dough gives you deep pan pizza perfection.
McCain makes a pizza for the deep pan lovers.
McCain Deep Pan Pizza, the finest pizza to ever come out of your oven.
Atlantic Racing, where drivers like Gilles Villeneuve, Bobby Rahal, Danny Sullivan, and Scott Goodyear emerge to excite race fans every year. The Players Limited Racing Team continues the tradition by sponsoring Canadians Jacques Villeneuve and Claude Bourbonnais. Players Limited, supporting a tradition of excellence in racing.
Every day at factories like this, auto products like this motor oil are packaged. Some with the MotoMaster label, some with another famous label. The idea being, people pay more for a national brand name. But when you buy MotoMaster oil, you get the best of both worlds. National brand quality that costs a lot less. Because when it comes to your car, we believe it's the product in the package that counts, not the label on it. MotoMaster, quality automotive products for a lot less.
Welcome back to TSN's exclusive coverage, the 15-round Players Limited Toyota Atlantic Championship today from beautiful Road Atlanta. Vic Rauter with Paul Chater, Bill Adam as we get ready for a start.
And the incredible thing about this series is that Canadians get stronger with each and every event, looking at David Empringham here, and Kenny Wilden, his first ever race in an Atlantic car.
Never been in an open-wheel car before, so this will be a first for Kenny Wilden, who comes out of the GM Motorsport Series.
Jacques Villeneuve, his second pole of the year, and Jacques gave us a tour of this challenging track.
So we're going to cross here the start-finish line in 4th, and we'll go down to corner 1. It's a corner where you hardly brake, you barely lift, and you never get to the limit because the exit is going uphill, so it's very difficult to gauge that. And you downshift in second gear, and upshift right away to third, and then fourth, to go down the S's, which is like a straight line because they're flat. And you can lose a lot if you're behind the back marker because you can't overtake. And you've got corner 5 in third gear, and the exit you upshift to fourth. And then you've got a weird corner because there's a lot of banking, and it's really difficult to get to the limit. There's always something more you can get out of it. You downshift to third, and then you downshift to first for the airpin, which brings you on the straight line. It's quite a long straight line, so you can get a very good toe out of it, and you can make a lot of RPMs with that toe. So it's very helpful in the race if you're behind someone or with the traffic. Then you've got the small S before the bridge, which is very bad in a way because if you're next to someone, you have to lift. You can't overtake them because you're going to have to put your car in the grass if you want to stay there. Then you get to the bridge and you downshift to fourth. You have to be careful on the exit of that corner because you've got the pit line, and if you cross the lines with your tires, you should get disqualified.
Boy, and you're right, Bill. It is incredibly smooth, like a billiard table, since they've repaved Road Atlanta. Let's take a look now as we get ready for the starting grid. Round 3, the Players Limited Toyota Atlantic Championship.
And pole position, rookie Canadian Jacques Villeneuve in his Ralt RT40, but still looking for his first victory.
You always want to win a race, so even if you've won 10,000 before, you still want to win another race. So yes.
Beside Jacques in the front row is American Colin Truman, another Ralt. He credits testing to his quick times.
Well, we did some testing down here, and that obviously helps when you show up prepared, so you just have to worry about the fine-tuning as opposed to, finding the whole picture.
The winningest driver in Atlantic racing history, that's Mark Dismore. He starts third in a Swift, but people think that a Swift is a disadvantage.
Well, that's what I keep hearing, but, I'd like to think I'm not, and from a driver's standpoint, I can't feel that way, because if I do, I'm beat before I ever start the race.
Canadian Claude Bourbonnais has dominated the series so far. He'll start fourth, but he has some serious mechanical problems.
Well, the problem right now is I have a fuel starvation problem, and if that's not fixed, I don't think I can look at a win. If they fix it, yes, I can look at a win. That's the determinant part of my race today.
Young Jamie Gallus will start in the third row in his Ralt. He has driven well this season, but has some concerns about the new surface.
Yeah, the track's real sticky, and I think that I'm concerned about the start because of that.
Canadian David Everingham, 6th fastest in his Ralt RT40. David finished third at Long Beach, but starts a little further back here.
We're going to get 2 warm-up laps, and usually our tires don't get up to temperature with 2 laps, but this track is very grippy, and our tires will be up to temperature for the start, which means we're going to need a lot of RPM to get the standing start without bogging your motor, and I think that could be an issue that a lot of guys may not think about.
The long, tall Texan Charles Nierberg in the factory Ralt will start 7th, still looking for the winner's podium in 93. This is incredible. Canadian Kenny Wilden starts 8th in his first ever Atlantic race, never been in an Open Stewart Pro. Picked up his first win of the year, but battling mechanical problems. Remember, he won in Phoenix, and Canadian Trevor Siebert out of Langley, BC, rounds out the top 10. As we take a look at the next row, 6 and 7, you see Leo Parante there, Jeff Barker, Gene Pope has a good car. Then it's Peter Fossetta, Bert Hart, Szergei Szortyka, the 36-year-old from Sinking Springs in his 4th Atlantic season. As we round out the field, Meyer Myers, Ave, and C.T. Hancock, as we come up now for, as always, one of the most exciting parts of Formula Atlantic racing, and that is the standing start.
And I wonder how many people are going to be learning from their experience at Long Beach. We saw a huge disparity in that traction coming off the grid, where some people chose to get their wheels on rubber, others didn't pay attention. But look at here, the Players Atlantic mechanics have lined the cars up on the previous rubber mark, so they should have a little more traction.
Now, what was Jamie Gallus's concern about being too sticky? As you see, Colin Truman, that is the number 50 in the foreground, and outside on the pole, the number 10 of Jacques Villeneuve, as we are underway here at Road Atlanta.
And look on the second row, look at Bourbonnais once again getting a tremendous start.
Oh, look at coming up the outside is Truman.
Oh, and there's an impact. There's cars off the track on the outside of one.
One of them is number 3, Stuart Crow, and I think I saw Jamie Gallus in the 11, and also Charles Nierberg in his number 7 car.
Both of the players' cars are through. Bourbonnais, again, a patented start. He's gone 4th to 1st. Villeneuve is back there in 3rd place. Look at this. Bourbonnais once again pulling away. A strong lead already. And here's a replay of the start. Watch in the background. You'll see an impact back here. Right there. All of a sudden, sideways. T-bones poor old Charles Nierberg just innocently going down the track there. He is forced out of the race before he even gets into turn 1.
Stuart Crow going off into the sand pit to help stop him, but your leader here is Claude Bourbonnais, who seems to have no concern about a line going into any turn 1. Whatever line gets him the lead.
Boy, Bourbonnais got right off the track there. You can see he is pushing very hard. I think this is really interesting that he may feel a psychological challenge from young Villeneuve. He realizes that he has been around this Atlantic Series and Formula Car racing for a long time, has not seen any realization of his dreams, and this is the best opportunity of his entire racing career.
There you see Jacques Villeneuve running in 3rd spot. Right behind him is David Empringham in the gold-colored Motomaster car.
David running very well. Jacques pulling away a little bit coming under that bridge. This is where the cars get very light.
But we've lost 3 cars already. Gallus, Nierberg, and Stuart Crow. Here's Paul Chater.
Charlie, what happened in that turn? Well, somebody got into Jamie and run him off the outside of the track, and he got on the grass and didn't get out of it, stayed in it, and spun back across the track, and, you know, there was nowhere to go.
Short race for Charlie Nierberg. Only into 1 corner. Let's go back upstairs.
Well, I tell you what, you lose 3 potential contenders there. I mean, let's remember Stuart Crow won in Phoenix, and Nierberg and Gallus are always strong runners. As you see, Colin Truman in the number 50 trying to hold off now Jacques Villeneuve for 2nd place.
Well, now we're getting a great view. You're inside Jacques' car looking up ahead at Colin Truman's car. Just listen to this for a moment. Again, these Toyota engines spinning up to 9,000 RPM. Here's the tightest corner in the track. 1st gear, now we're accelerating out and down this long straight. At the end of the straight, these cars are going to be exceeding 240 kilometers per hour.
Jamie Gallus, one of those 3 cars involved in that first turn accident. Jamie's with Paul.
Jamie, it looked like you got pushed off onto the grass going into turn 1.
Yeah, you know, I was up alongside Mark. He got I had a way better start than he did, it seemed, and I was gaining on him. So, and there was plenty of room. So I went over there. He moved over on me, touched me. I went off in the grass, and I thought I could keep it straight, and it was pretty straight, but I was pretty far over in the grass, and then it just hit, you know, just went back across the track. There's nothing I can do. I feel bad for Stuart and Charles, but it's what happens when people aren't aware of everything around them on the racetrack. You know, it's pretty strange because it's not like Marks do things like that, but I suppose everything goes around that comes around.
Jamie Gallus, the 21-year-old from Albuquerque, New Mexico, of course, the son of Rick Gallus. As you look at Jacques Villeneuve trying the inside line, and he gets Colin Truman. Nice move, Villeneuve.
Perfect move. He drafted up behind Truman as close as he could get, waited until he was right at the bottom of the dip, and then a classic late braking move.
Oh, Truman, look at this, look at this.
Villeneuve is taking a good inside line. Perfect defensive driving. He does not allow Truman the luxury of out-braking him going back into 1. Top of the hill here. Now they start downhill. These downhill S's are fabulously quick. These cars just snaking down this hill. This is probably somewhere around 200 kilometers per hour right down through here, slowing to maybe 100 and then accelerating back again on this straight.
All the while, of course, Bill, this is going on. Claude Bourbonnais is pulling away. He's just got nothing but open track in front of him. And now the chase is on as we get a look at the number 20 of Mark Dismore, the 35-year-old from Greenfield, Indiana. He currently running in 5th place and trying to chase down the Motomaster car, that of David Empringham.
Dismore, too, has been a really good, strong challenger this year. He's been spectacular in past seasons, but I think that, again, shows the Canadian content this year. Here is a man who used to be a winner. Now we're on board Mark's car. Look at the view up ahead. That is David Empringham directly ahead of us in the Motomaster car. Heavy braking. Drop a couple of gears underneath this bridge here. We lose a little camera contact, but look at this.
Dismore has got him.
Wonderful high-speed exit from the bridge. I think David had a little bit of a push on his car, could not get under power, and Dismore was able to take advantage of it.
Do you remember when we went on the track tour with Jacques Villeneuve? He said when you come under that bridge, you have to set it up perfectly because you've also, maybe it's a little off camber as well.
Yeah, well, it's not so much off camber, but because the car is getting light, it slides a lot farther out, and you really have to watch it. They have warned all of these drivers they will penalize them should they go over the line that separates, this imaginary line that separates the pit entrance from the racing surface. So they have to be careful, and I think maybe that's exactly what David just did.
So we've got a 4-car train. Villeneuve, Truman, Empringham, and Dismore.
Great racing once again. You can see how equal this is. That is the blue and white car leading that is Jacques Villeneuve. The red one following Colin Truman. Mark Dismore right there in the red and white, and the gold in the back is our own David Empringham from Willowdale. High-speed straight here. Look at how smooth the track is. These cars are not bouncing at all.
Dismore, the winningest driver in Formula Atlantic history. He had 3 wins in 92. He is the 90 series champion. He has 14 in total as we ride like again with Mark Dismore.
They're in a hurry. Down the front straight into turn 1. He's trying the inside.
Colin Truman, can he hold him off? And he does. He closes the door.
Great move. Watch how little these drivers have to move the steering wheel. You can see just how quick these cars can react. Look, very, very little motion. Just takes his hand off for a second, almost flexing the wrist to make a gear shift. Hardly movement there at all. Just maybe a quarter of a turn on the steering wheel, leaving the corners. Again, a short shift up to the next gear. And down the straight once again, back up to about 200 kilometers per hour.
Dismore hasn't had the kind of season you'd expect from a former champion. 16th at Phoenix, 23rd at Long Beach as mechanical problems did him in.
Well, again, I think it's an evolutionary period, too, for the cars, because he is in one of the, quote, old Swifts. Up ahead, the cars are drawing away just a little bit down that straight.
That car going out of picture at the bottom, that was your leader, Claude Bourbonnais. We've almost forgotten about him as we follow this battle now. There is Mark Dismore running in 4th place.
Well, Claude Bourbonnais has been just nothing short of astonishing this year. He has really been inspired, and his 2 starts in this race and the last at Long Beach prove it. 4th to 1st on the first lap.
And you remember him? There he is. There is your leader, Claude Bourbonnais, who grabbed it right at the first turn and has held it ever since and continues to pull away.
Again, I think the psychological pressure of racing with Jacques Villeneuve is pushing Bourbonnais to be his very, very best. And it's great for him. He is showing winning form. He is a real, true professional. Look at the solid lead he's got. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. They're all very, very close. But Claude just seems to be able to pull away.
That's Jacques Villeneuve. And the distinguishing characteristic, of course, from Claude's car is the little pink strip on Jacques' helmet and the pink roll bar on his Formula Atlantic car. The number 50 is Colin Truman, followed by Mark Dismore, and there goes in 5th place Willowdale's David Empringham.
Down this long straight once again, it looks like David is getting pulled just a bit by these other cars, and he may have a slight problem.
Another driver who said he had an engine problem, the leader, Chloe, you'd never know it by his performance here, but he had a problem in qualifying.
Yeah, he did. He complained about this car missing a little bit, and it doesn't seem to be hampering him right now, but...
Paul Chater is in the pits with team manager Barry Green.
Okay, we're with Barry Green from Forsyth Green Racing. Barry, your 2 cars obviously running well, but Claude Bourbonnais' engine sounds a little off song. Has he told you what's going on?
Yeah, we've had a problem with a misfire under the bridge all weekend. We've been working away on it. For some reason, Jacques is running fine, and we believe we got them both set the same, so it's been very confusing, but it doesn't seem to be worrying him right now. He looks pretty good, and so does Jacques.
What's he told you on the radio about the car?
That he's just going to deal with it. It's not slowing him up too much, but we'll just keep our fingers crossed and hope that it doesn't get any worse.
Okay, thanks very much. Barry Green has 2 cars running in 1st and 2nd.
Boy, I tell you, the experience that Barry Green has, my first involvement with him was back in the Can-Am days. When I first met him, he was handling Bobby Rahal and Teo Fabi, working for Paul Newman at that time.
Yeah, that's a great battle going on right there. That's the number 4 car is Leo Parente in a Swift. Number 39 is Gene Pope in a Reynard. And 05 is Bert Hart in a Ralt. 3 different makes having a great battle as we go back up to the front.
And up at the front, your first 3 cars are all Ralts. The Swift at number 20 right there. Mark Dismore What was his concern about a Swift at this track?
Well, seemingly, this is the old car, and one that is greatly disadvantaged. It does not have the downforce or the road holding of some of the newer cars. But he is driving brilliantly here, and perhaps because he doesn't have quite the downforce, he may have a fractionally higher top speed. So it may be working for his benefit right now.
There again is your leader. That is Claude Bourbonnais.
You know, it's interesting. Now we're on board with Villeneuve riding along in his role. But going back to Bourbonnais for a moment, he is suffering a slight engine problem and still pulling away. Imagine what he's going to do with a perfect car. That's a frightening thought to his competitors. Down the front straight here, 9,000 RPM coming up into turn one, and listen, just barely on the brakes. Up at the top of the hill, meanwhile, Bourbonnais continues to rocket around this track.
Claude Bourbonnais, who was the winner, remember, in Phoenix, and then had that win taken away from him for passing the pace car, and then it was given to Stuart Crow. Bourbonnais awarded 4 overall.
And you can see the lead. He is very comfortable out front. Now, normally, when cars run in a pack, like second, third, fourth, and fifth do, that will usually help on a high-speed track because of the drafting, the slipstreaming benefit. But here, Bourbonnais, running all by himself, continues to stretch out the lead just a little bit at a time, and is obviously very comfortable.
Dismore trying to chase down the third-place car of Colin Truman, who continues to be a surprise in my mind, Bill. Last year he ran maybe 5-6 races, wasn't very committed. As we take a look now at maybe the biggest surprise of the event here at Road Atlanta, Kenny Wilden, first Atlantic ride, first open wheel race, and he is in 6th place all alone.
Very nervous, very nervous. I've learned the track well, and I'm still learning quite a bit with the car, but I think that the big the nervousness that I'm having is really about the start of the race. I haven't had a practice on a standing start yet, so I'm pretty nervous about that right now. But I'm going to run through a few in my head, and hopefully when I get my grid, it'll just happen.
Boy, oh boy, he's making it happen, running in 6th place as we go back and take a look at the leader. Unchallenged at this point, locks it up a little bit there, Claude Bourbonnais.
Just a little bit. Now, that was not a sign of anything wrong with the car. I think he only got that outside front wheel onto the painted surface. See the white lines at the edge of the track. And, of course, on paint, there's a little bit less adhesion as there would be on normal pavement. So that's all it was. It locked it up just for a fraction of a second. It will not flat spot that tire at all. Down through the dip here. This is the high-speed part of the track. On this long lens that we're using, you really cannot appreciate the speeds these cars are running down there. They're covering a tremendous amount of ground at a very high rate of speed.
Colin Truman in his number 50, the son of the late Jim Truman.
Oh, there's an
accident.
accident.
Goodness.
Oh, a huge accident at the far end of the course.
The number 77, Szergei Szortyka, the 36-year-old from Sinking Springs, Pennsylvania, in his 4th Atlantic season. In his Quaker-made meets Swift, goes end over end.
This will bring out a pace car without question. We will be getting a pace car coming out here. They will have to slow this race down. Look at the replay. Look at the car flying, and look at the impact right on the roll. Hand was out there for a moment, just vaulting off the wheels. You can see his head. He is thankfully strapped very firmly and securely inside the car. His body was not allowed to get too far out. We're back to the flag stand here, and I'm sure you can see, yes, they're slowing down right now. They haven't advised the race is going to be stopped. There's the pace car going out right as we're talking to make sure that Szergei is all right. They're signaling right now for a tow truck, some sort of a lift, but there is no signals that he is hurt. That is good news. They have to get a truck there to help lift that car. I'm a bit concerned that maybe that roll bar was folded down around his head. Tremendous impact.
But you're right, as he did, and we saw it more in slow motion. His hand was out, and then he brought it back to the wheel. And I've heard you try to hold on and just keep yourself tucked in after 15 laps. Under yellow, Bourbonnais, Villeneuve, Truman, Empringham from Willowdale, Ontario's 5th. On through 10, and you'll see Kenny Wilden. What a great start for him. More from Road Atlanta when we come back.
The Players Limited 200 returns to Mosport.
June 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Catch the excitement of the Players Limited Toyota Atlantic Championship featuring the Players Limited team of Jacques Villeneuve Jr. and Claude Bourbonnais. Win $1 million or the use of a Ferrari or a trip to the Indy 500 in the new Mosport Millions Lottery.
The weekend co-features all round in the Trans Am Tour.
All for the reduced price of only $25 for the weekend when purchased in advance at Ticketmaster or the Mosport office. The Players Limited 200 at Mosport.
June 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Be there.
3 of the leading causes of blurred vision. Toyota Celica, Paseo, and MR2 give new meaning to the term rapid eye movement.
Tough beards can't stand up to twin edges. Neither can the rain. Rally Twin Edge Wipers. Twice the rain-clearing power in every stroke. It's the power of twin edges in a single blade. The first cleans, the second cleans up. Performance beyond compare. With blades warranted for a lifetime. Fit virtually all of today's cars and trucks. A sleek new profile everybody loves. Rally Twin Edge Wipers.
Welcome back to Road Atlanta. Vic Roeder along with Paul Chater and Bill Adams. With the yellow flag, they're starting to clean up both accidents. The early one in quarter one on lap one, and of course the spectacular crash of Szergei Szortyka. Here's Paul.
Dave White, owner of Kenny Wilden's team. You must be surprised how well Kenny's doing this early in his first ever Formula Atlantic race.
Well, you know, I was absolutely amazed at his start. We only let him do one practice start, and that was the other day. We intended to do something we never did. He made a brilliant start, and I think right now, I think you'll see as the race goes on, he'll get a bit quicker, because I kind of told him, hey, let's just not get too carried away. Don't make any dumb moves. But boy, I am so happy. The guy's just doing such a great job for me.
Don't often see a smile on a team owner this early in an event.
Well, I shouldn't probably, because maybe it'll ruin it all, but I'm going to keep smiling. Why not? I haven't smiled in a race for a long, long time.
Okay, Dave White, obviously elated. We're only a few laps into the race, and we're under a yellow flag. Back to Vic and to Bill.
David White, well, he hasn't had reason to smile as we get good news now, Bill, that Szortyka is shaken, but physically he will be okay.
Yeah, you can see he's waving to the crowd there. They're just being careful with him right now because of the violence of that crash. Watch the replay. Obviously had to be open wheel contact here as this car is launched. Here it comes, already flying. Look at the impact. Watch the roll bar right there as his glove comes out. Look at that, you can see his glove just above his helmet. And then the roll bar makes a tremendous impact with the pavement. The car just continues to vault over and over, rebounding off that left rear wheel right. Here it hits, starts the car, much faster pivots, and look at this, just incredible. But it shows the structural integrity of the car. Look at how solid that car is.
Now, is it true what I've heard is that when this happens, you have to collect yourself and really tuck yourself in and let the car do the job it's supposed to?
Yeah, this is where you want to be about 3, and not something that's caused by the pavement, but just something nature gave you.
And now we are under a red flag, and the field will be brought to a stop here at Road Atlanta. Aerodynamics, so much a part of any form of racing, especially here in Formula Atlantic, where drivers learn about aerodynamics, and we learn more now from Bill.
Aerodynamics is one of the most important yet confusing areas in all of motor racing. It basically is doing one thing, and that is to increase the traction of a car to the ground. Now, it uses wings to push the car down, and that creates the downforce, yet these same wings create drag, and the idea is to minimize that drag as much as possible. Now, the importance even grows more with the Atlantic cars. These are the small brothers of the full Indy cars, and like an Indy car, they are ground effect cars. They use tunnels below the side pods to create low pressure areas that really act as a vacuum to suck the car down onto the ground and thereby increases traction. Now, the tunnels themselves are very difficult. Because you're driving a car that goes around a corner a lot faster than a conventional racing car, it takes on an added dimension and an added glory and of course has attracted a lot of drivers. Scott Goodyear, for example, calls these cars nothing less than a 3/4 scale Indy car. And all of the Canadian drivers, Bourbonnais, Villeneuve, Empringham, they all want to move up to Indy cars. But they will tell you that that learning curve is very steep.
These cars have an enormous amount of grip. I mean, when you're in a fourth gear corner, the wheel actually gets so heavy in your hand because the car's being sucked down so hard. The first time I felt that, I pulled in the pits. I thought something was wrong with the car.
Well, because we're running a car that produces a lot of downforce, we don't have a whole lot of places where we brake very much. In fact, we hardly bring our brakes up to temperature.
It's a nice car to drive because it catches itself by itself, and then it's easier to set as well because the height you have compared to the ground is not as much critical as with a flat bottom car.
With past champions that have included Michael Andretti, Scott Goodyear, and Bobby Rahal, there is no doubt that success in this seat can and does lead to success in an IndyCar seat. And this is largely attributable to learning the trade of driving a ground effects race car.
We are still under a red flag condition here at Road Atlanta. Claude Bourbonnais, engine problems. Paul?
Claude, you're doing a remarkable job with a car that doesn't sound all that healthy. What's the problem?
Well, we've been chasing a gremlin all weekend since Thursday first session. The car shuts off on top of the hill there. The engine just shuts off and for 1 second, and then it misses in going in corner one. It seems to be a carburation problem. We just can't seem to be able to put our finger on it.
But it's not slowing you down at all.
Well, you know, I'm just trying to not lose any time, and I know I'm losing time because of that. I don't know about the others. Maybe they have the problem, maybe they don't. I don't know.
Okay, thanks very much. Claude Bourbonnais sitting still at the front of this field, waiting for the green flag to come back out.
Really curious that it would shut out going up and over the hill. 15 laps have been completed as we get ready now for the restart. And there are 5 Canadians in the top 10. Bourbonnais, Villeneuve, Empringham. Kenny Wilden, remember, in his very first Formula Atlantic start, and Trevor Siebert is 9th. The year was 1975, and Bill Brack returns to defend his championship. And with a combination of skill and aggression, Bill Brack went on to defend his Formula Atlantic title and keep the #1 for another year. Bill Brack, Canadian champion. The tradition continues.
Players 200 in 1961. Canada's first Formula One race, the Players Grand Prix of Canada in 1967. The sponsorship of major race series across Canada. Players Limited, at the forefront of racing for over 30 years. The tradition of support continues, sponsoring Canadian Jacques Villeneuve, Claude Bourbonnais, and the Players Limited Atlantic Racing Team.
3 of the leading causes of blurred vision. Toyota Celica, Paseo, and MR2 give new meaning to the term rapid eye movement.
Boy, they are going to be a brutal competitor for us.
We bought them out last month.
Business bloopers are embarrassing, especially when they happen to you. And that's why you need the Financial Post, because it delivers the news that helps you to stay informed, to stay ahead. Call this number now. And with your new subscription, you'll receive this personal office stereo with AM/FM clock radio and separate speakers. Every day, our top-notch editorial staff gathers the essential business and investment news from our bureaus across Canada, in New York, Washington, London, Hong Kong, and 35 affiliates worldwide. You get the information you need in a compact, easy-to-read format.
I just bought 1,000 of the Class A shares. I guess you're not worried about that lawsuit in the UK, huh? Lawsuit?
Call this number now for your subscription to the Financial Post. With your paid subscription, you'll receive this personal office stereo. Call toll-free 1-800-387-8034. Ask for the extension number on your screen.
Welcome back to Road Atlanta. Round 3 of the Players Limited Toyota Atlantic Championship. The field in motion again after a long red flag for a couple of accidents, the most serious of which was Szergei Szortyka. And I guess the driver that loses the most in all of this is Claude Bourbonnais. Suddenly he's back with the rest of the field.
Yeah, he certainly does lose a great deal because he was in a very, very good rhythm, was pulling away a little bit every lap, and now he has to try and reestablish this.
And we don't know about those engine problems and whether they're going to have a greater effect on his performance. This week, our Toyota team profile focuses on the team of Kenny Wilden and David White Racing. Wilden joins the Players Limited Toyota Atlantic Championship as a rookie, but a rookie who knows how to win. Kenny has shown great promise and has chosen to join a team with experience, David White Racing, a team that has fostered the careers of drivers such as Danny Sullivan and Davy Jones, under the watchful eye of team owner David White, who once managed the March Formula One team. Kenny has been very impressive.
He came out and he tested, and just in his whole professional approach of how he appeared when we first met him, when he got to the track, he was very calm and relaxed, and I like that. And when he got in the car, he didn't go out and like shy away on the road. He didn't miss gear shifts. By the end of the day, he'd done quite a respectable lap time, compared to other drivers I'd had.
Much of Kenny's early success is a tribute to his own natural ability. But racing is a team sport, and Kenny can appreciate David White.
I think we're pretty much equal. He's very confident, and he likes working with confident people. And as long as I put on a strong effort in the car, and a smart one, then we get along fine. But if I'm going to make a mistake, things will get rough for a few minutes.
But Kenny hasn't made too many mistakes and has really surprised everybody with his early speed. Behind his youthful enthusiasm stands the experience of a David White.
Very excited about this season, and I think Dave's got me very focused. He's very good with me, and when I do things wrong, he lets me know right away, and when I do things right, he takes a little time to let me know. He doesn't want my head to get too big.
Well, you have to be impressed, Bill. He has done a great job to be running in 6th place.
I am very impressed, not only with his talent behind the steering wheel, but his ability to speak. I think he is doing a wonderful job of representing a new sponsor, Slick 50, and my congratulations to Kenny.
The car is trying to heat up the tires. Claude Bourbonnais, followed by Jacques Villeneuve. In the red number 50, it is Colin Truman. Mark Dismore is running in 4th place, followed by the gold Motomaster car of David Empringham, and tucked right up there, nose to tail, is in fact Kenny Wilden running 6th.
Now as we watch, there goes the pace car peeling off the track, and look at Claude Bourbonnais. He is jumping out once again. Look at the lead already. He caught everybody sleeping and already has a 100-foot lead on the entire field. Down into turn 1 here. The field is just spreading out there over the top. You can see how cold those tires are. The cars are really wiggling a lot. They have to get these cars back up to temperature.
But boy, this sure looks like the race before the red flag, where Claude Bourbonnais pulls out. There's Jacques. There's Colin Truman. There's David Empringham. And followed quickly Mark Dismore.
Well, Empringham made a brilliant start as well. He regained that 4th place, passing Dismore. I think catching everybody just a little bit of sleep. And maybe this has re-inspired David to get the stove back up to temperature.
Oh, he gets a little sideways, a little wiggling. Maybe those tires aren't heated up quite yet.
No, the engineers have told us that it does take a good 10 laps of racing to get them up to the perfect conditions. David just showed right there, his rear tires are cold. And that really cost him coming out of the straight. Watch how Dismore and right back there, Kenny Wilden, they are all closing up now. Look at Wilden back in the background.
Kenny Wilden moves to the outside of Dismore. Has he got him here?
He does.
Oh, my. You know, I mean, think about this. You've never driven an open-wheel car before, as Dismore now tries to catch Wilden, taking him right back.
That's right. He will get him back because he got a real good high-speed run down that straight and down this front straight. Holds the inside line, does not allow Wilden to try and go in. And there's somebody off. It's Bourbonnais. He's off.
Unbelievably racing all by himself. Claude Bourbonnais is into the trees here at Road Atlanta. Now, what could have happened to him?
Bourbonnais has gone off the outside of turn 1, which is a very high-speed corner. It appears he is going right straight off at this point. You can see there's an impact with the ground, but the car has gone straight. He has pushed off. The car has understeered off the outside of the track, without doubt caused by cold tires.
my goodness, into the red clay soil here at Road Atlanta. But thankfully, Claude Bourbonnais is out and has walked away from his number 9 Players Limited machine. So your new leader, shockingly, surprisingly, is Jacques Villeneuve. And in second place now, Colin Truman in the Red Roof Inns, number 50. And in third place is David Empringham in his gold Motomaster.
Coming onto the back straight once again. These fellas here will all have had a pretty good picture of what just took place in front of them. That plays mind games with you. Villeneuve obviously had the best look at it. He must have realized exactly what happened to his teammate. And these cars are set up fairly close together. The interview earlier with the crew chief said that both cars were virtually identical. So Villeneuve does not want to fall prey to the same thing that just took his teammate out. Try to be as smooth as you can. Don't get the cars sideways. Drive very smoothly, but get the tires back up to temperature. Rocking past the camera here, probably 170, 180 kilometers per hour past the camera there. Right there, going up the hill, turn 1.
Claude Bourbonnais is out, and he's with Paul.
Claude, what happened on the restart? Cold tires?
Yeah, cold tires, and I did as I did from the start. I softened my rear bar. I did that at the start because the tires are cold and it's better. And I did the same thing, and it just understeered going corner 1. I guess the tires were still hot enough that they could have handled the sift bar, and that just tricked me. And when I noticed I was going wide, I lifted, but it was too late. And it just got on a speed bump and lifted up, and just gone.
The race is over for Claude Bourbonnais after putting on such a fine show here this afternoon.
Let's talk a little technically. Fill me in what he means stiff bar, soft bar.
Well, inside the cockpits of these cars, they have adjustments that the driver can make. If the front of the car is pushing, in other words, the front tires are not responding, you can change the sway bar setting, putting more force on either the front or rear of the car. So you can really, to a small degree, dial in your own handling. Claude was expecting a problem with the cold tires, did what he thought would be the right thing, and he just admitted there that it was not. But hats off to him for his honesty. That is something that's very tough for a race driver to do and say, I made a mistake.
We ride along now with our leader here at Road Atlanta, and this is Jacques Villeneuve.
Down the hill, we're coming out of the front straight here, and at the end of the straight is where Claude made the mistake. Look how fast you're approaching the corner. Here he comes rocketing down the straight, slight braking and turning into the corner. At this point, Bourbonnais' car did not respond, and he went off the outside of the corner there. But it looks to me like both Truman and Empringham are closing up slightly on Villeneuve.
And boy, how Road Atlanta must bring back memories for Jacques Villeneuve. Remember, his father won twice here in 1976, as there's a problem with that number 4 Swift. That's Leo Parente from Redondo Beach, California.
You can hear him coasting. The engine is still running, but he has lost all drive in the car.
Now remember, Bill, Long Beach was a street course. This is a road course. Wondered what Jacques liked better.
Well, preferences, it's different. On a street course, it slides a lot, and you've got the walls that give you the limit or the edge quite rapidly. Here, it's full of quick corners, and they're banked as well, and you always think you're at the limit, and you always find out that you're not. So that's a kind of a challenge.
Huge difference in speed as well. Where Long Beach was a relatively low-speed track, this track has an average speed approaching 190 kilometers per hour. Now, that's the average speed.
Boy, oh boy, is Colin Truman ever setting it on fire here as he continues to burn it up and set lap records trying to chase down Jacques Villeneuve.
And all 3 of these cars, the gold car in the back there, David Empringham, they are all going very, very fast. But Truman is just inspired right now. He is flying at the moment.
Good battle there for 6th spot between the 08 of Steve O'Hara and the number 19 of Jeff Barker.
The 19 car is one of the prettiest paint jobs in this series. Just look at this. This is almost a show car. It's so beautiful. Chases the white car of Steve O'Hara. Both Ralts.
Barker, the former motorcycle racer. O'Hara, a former karting champion in the United States.
Sponsorship by O'Hara. How about that?
Not surprising. No, we talked about former winners. We mentioned Gilles Villeneuve won here twice in 76. Well, Scott Goodyear won here at Road Atlanta in Formula Atlantic in 1986.
Yeah, Scott really enjoyed these cars too, and we have had many good conversations about them. He did and does feel they are the perfect training ground for Indy cars.
And of course, we know that Scott Goodyear will start fourth, second row at the Indy 500 as we take a look at David Empringham.
Villeneuve here rocketing around the track again. He is protecting as much as he can, but cannot afford to look back very often at Truman. He has to concentrate on being as fast as possible. Look at this great battle here. Little sparks off the bottom of the cars. They're grounding at the end of this high-speed straight. And again, Truman closes up a little bit more every lap. Truman will definitely be in Villeneuve's slipstream at this point, so he will have a decided advantage coming down this long straight. Villeneuve goes in here as deep as possible before getting on the brakes, but he's staying to the outside edge of the track. Wants to keep the good line through the corner. Underneath the bridge, down this straight onto the front straight. Last corner, now on the front straight. Approaching that ultra high-speed turn one. Uphill right-hand corner, just barely brushing the brakes before they're flat on it again up here. And look at this. Truman gets another car length closer.
Well, has been setting track record laps here as he tries to catch Jacques Villeneuve. Now, we talked about Colin Truman being the son of the late Jim Truman, who used to own the Bobby Rahal team. Well, he knows all about what racing is, and of course he knows about Road Atlanta, having been here many times with his father. So Colin Truman, as he tries to catch Jacques Villeneuve, we wondered what he thought about all the improvements to Road Atlanta, and especially this brand new surface, which all the drivers seem to like.
Yeah, I hadn't been here since 1988, so I hadn't run on it when people were complaining of it being bumpy, but the wider corners have definitely made it a lot quicker in the final turn and the first turn, and it's helped with the passing areas in a couple places where it was fairly tight before. So.
Faster corners seem to be helping Jacques Villeneuve right now.
I think they are. It seems that Truman is closing up a little bit, but again, these cars, they remain so competitive. It is such a brilliant series that the tiniest mistake that either one of these drivers is making changes it. As we watch, here's a beautiful battle here.
The 09, Trevor Siebert. There he is in the white car from Langley, BC, trying to hold off Tony Ave, and then that green and white car is the number 15 of Peter Fossetta. You got a couple of Swifts there, and then the Reynard of Fossetta.
Yeah, how quickly things changed. Last year, the Swift was such a dominant car, and yet here are two of the better ones way back battling for 9th place. But this battle continues to rage on up front. No let-up. Again, they are on the back straight right here, seemingly about the same distance as they were last lap. I don't think either driver made any changes at all there. Down through the valley. 240 kilometers per hour right at the bottom of that hill. Hard braking, drop a couple of gear and up over the crest. You can see that Truman's car went almost beyond that white line. That is the painted line, the imaginary separation between pit lane and the racing surface. Truman's car sliding right over to the edge of the track.
Trying to really slingshot his way out of all the corners, pick up any little additional speed he can as he tries to now in the final moments of round 3 of the Players Limited Toyota Atlantic Championship, tries to catch your leader Jacques Villeneuve.
And look at Villeneuve's head. This may give us some indication of what he's doing. Is he looking straight ahead, or does he take... Now there, right there, he took a little glance at the mirror to see where Truman was. He has to keep the concentration on what is ahead, because the instinct, the tendency is to drive the other person's race. And if you start watching somebody behind you too often... Again, look at this now. Truman was able to close up another car length right there. Villeneuve has to keep concentration out front of him, but he is doing a wonderful job right now.
Remember, Jacques Villeneuve, in his first race in Formula Atlantic last year in Trois-Rivières, finished a spectacular 3rd, and he was 2nd in Long Beach, going now for his first win.
I don't think Truman is going to get it. I think Villeneuve has enough of a lead. They're over the crest this hill again. Villeneuve very, very smooth, and here's the checker.
And Jacques Villeneuve will win it and hold off Colin Truman. What a spectacular race for those two gentlemen, as David Empringham will finish in 3rd. So we have Canadians 1st and 3rd, and Kenny Wilden. You can't say enough about Kenny Wilden from Burlington, Ontario, in his first Formula Atlantic. And there's a fourth Canadian. 4 Canadians in your top 10. Trevor Siebert will finish 8th.
This MotoMaster tire, this battery, this motor oil. These MotoMaster products are all made by well-known manufacturers. But they'd prefer we not mention their names because they sell similar products themselves under national brand names and charge more. But buy them as MotoMaster, you get the best of both worlds. National brand quality that costs a lot less. MotoMaster, quality automotive products for a lot less.
Last year, there were nearly 40 million oil changes in Canada. Unfortunately, not one line of oils could provide the ultimate defense against viscosity breakdown. But now there's Castrol GTX, the only leading motor oil that meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown in every grade. So once again, it's time to change your oil. New Castrol GTX, engineered for today's harder working engines. Castrol GTX, now available at these and other leading retail outlets.
You may never have to find out how much control Yokohama all-season tires really give you. But with 70 years of tire engineering excellence and long-lasting traction, it's always there if you need it, no matter what kind of car you drive. Yokohama Performance Radials. Now you've got control.
The Players Limited 200 returns to Mosport.
June 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Catch the excitement of the Players Limited Toyota Atlantic Championship featuring the Players Limited team of Jacques Villeneuve Jr. and Claude Bourbonnais. Win $1 million or the use of a Ferrari or a trip to the Indy 500 in the new Mosport Millions Lottery.
The weekend co-features all round in the Trans Am Tour.
All for the reduced price of only $25 for the weekend when purchased in advance at Ticketmaster or the Mosport office. The Players Limited 200 at Mosport.
June 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Be there.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Players Limited and TSN and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Promotion Agency Limited. Jacques Villeneuve is your winner here at Road Atlanta, and he's with Paul.
Jacques, congratulations. What went through your mind when you saw Claude go off in turn 1?
Well, I said, great. I won't have to get close to him and overtake him. The tires were still very cold and full of bad rubber from all the slow laps. So it took the first 2 or 3 laps. It was very, very slippery, so maybe he shouldn't have pushed as much. I don't know.
You were pushed pretty hard by Colin Truman. Were you aware how close he was?
Yeah, I could see him in my mirrors, and every time down the back straight, he would get closer and closer with the toe. So, yeah, I was pushing for that.
Look how tight things have become in the points race now, Bill. Jacques Villeneuve with the win is the leader by 1 over 3 drivers, including David Empringham. Trevor Siebert is hanging tough as well with 21 points. Once again, here's Paul.
David, nice big smile. 3rd place, you happy?
Well, you know, I'm not usually happy with a 3rd, but this time I am. We kind of missed the beat all weekend with the setup, and I think we really only had a 5th fastest car this weekend, but a few unfortunate things for some other teams put us in the right spot on the podium this weekend for MotoMaster.
Is that what made the difference?
To be on the podium today, you know, collect the points. It's a long haul, 15 race series, and it's overall at the end that we want to be on top.
Congratulations, nice race.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is a long series. Round 4 here on TSN comes to you from the Milwaukee Mile, Sunday, June the 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Paul?
Well, one of the strangest Formula Atlantic races we've ever seen. But 3 Canadians finishing in the top 5 with young Jacques Villeneuve getting his first victory. For Vic Router and Bill Adam, I'm Paul Chater saying so long from Road Atlanta.
The Players Limited Toyota Atlantic Championship is brought to you in part by Yokohama Performance Radials. Now you've got control.